fellas come, we've had some fun.
It's time for the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Here with a load of laughs, info, and fun, it's Tony B, Dave B, and Timmy D.
Before I go alone. Don't ask me this and one more song. It ain't too costly, no, I ain't too cheap, so just relax. I'm on my knees.
Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast, episode 123. 123, David B.
Easy as 1,
2, 3. My name is Tony B. Alongside me, as usual, is David B. Timmy D. Doing some daddy duty this weekend. David B's got the XPO valuation. I've got, I think I'm going to say his name right. Ramsway. He's running for president or
Vivek
something.
Ramaswamy. Or something like that.
Vivek.
I think I butchered it too.
Oh, that sounds better than what I said, though. But he's got a, he's been talking to some truckers at the Iowa 80, so he's got a trucking thing going on. Ship's Gonna Happen. And then, well, let me back up. We'll have number 3, big hits from the 80s from the Reckless Club crew. And then, most importantly here, the views of Ship's Gonna Happen are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any trucking provider or any business entity that uses a trucking provider. David B., we do it because...
Transportainment.
Kaboom, baby! We own the word. If you use it, you're going to pay us. Transportainment! You can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon, iHeart. And David B., you know, most people are listening to us nowadays more on those platforms than they are on YouTube.
Okay, I think that's cool. I wonder why that is, but whatever. I'm not savvy on that stuff. To me, it's just there's something other than YouTube.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
awesome. Thanks everybody for this.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right, David B., man. Good morning to you. How are you, sir?
Good morning, producer Tony. How are you? I think you mowed your yard, or it looks like you might have mowed your... Did you not mow your yard? Because it sure looks like you did. This isn't generally the time of year you would expect somebody to mow, but again, on the 19th green this morning, and it looks fabulous. Like it's a spring day, and really we haven't even started winter yet. We're really right at the end of the fall.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do, but that's a nice looking yard. We're in a yard in the neighborhood that's even close to this.
Thank you, sir.
It looks awesome.
I thought about mowing it actually.
Okay.
And I think the rule is that if it doesn't stay under like 42 degrees for a long period of time, the grass will still grow.
Oh, mine needs it, so I should mow.
You gonna mow this weekend?
I don't know. I don't know about this weekend. I had a neighbor that was mowing yesterday when I got home, and I'm like, not a bad idea. Maybe I should.
Well, here's the scary part. Okay. Have you looked at the weather forecast?
It's not going to be cold.
It's going to be 50 on Christmas.
Right. Yeah. But there are people out now that think it's cold, but it's not, or at least I don't think it's cold.
Some guy in the neighborhood's got a landscaping business, and I saw him out with his landscaping stuff, and I stopped him, and he said he was still cutting some places. Wow.
All right. Now I want you to be as not as partisan or not as partial to your own yard as you can be. Does your yard look better than his?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I knew the answer. I knew what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
So
no, not even close, man.
Try to use better. Yeah. Tony's like, yep, mine. Okay. All right.
And he's an expert, supposedly.
Well, I think you need to have. I tell you this all the time. And when you go to retire, or you want to dumb down your. I'm not saying that it's a lesser job than what you do now, but you could easily have your own yard business or landscape, whatever. You do such an excellent job at it.
Oh, thank you, brother. I wish the high school would have never converted to AstroTurf. I would have been knocking on their door.
Why did they do that?
I think just maintenance of it. Than not having to pay for the maintenance of the yard.
I stepped onto a university field about a month ago in northern Indiana, and it was after a football game, and I was surprised. The turf was kind of like an artificial Christmas tree branch turf. I mean, the plastic, it's what it seemed like, and I'm like, why is this? Why is this what they're using? But I guess it works.
Seems like there's a lot of injuries, though, on more. They think there's more injuries on turf than there is on natural grass. But
Well, this show, along with all of our other shows, are brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go after a Ship's Gonna Happen week. Great place to go to chat it up with the locals, get a great meal, unwind after a long week, which is what I did last night. I had an awesome meal, great conversations with some locals in there, and it was just got to listen to the piano music of Mr. David Meek, which was outstanding. It was just a nice evening, and the place was standing room only,
Really?
Producer Tony, and it took us probably a minimum of a half hour to get a table, which was fine.
Wow.
Yeah, it was packed.
Wow.
Packed. Good. Again,
What'd you eat?
we ate before we got there.
Okay.
We went to Pearl Street and got pizza first because we knew that the alcohol was going to be like, let's eat first.
Because they're known for, they have because what do you usually get on Friday night?
Prime rib.
Prime rib. They're known for that, right?
Yeah. And they were only, good question. When we sat down, they only had one left. And one of the guys that I was, one of the guys that met up with us, he hadn't eaten yet, and he had that last.
He got the last one.
Yeah, while we were there, and it was such a good, diverse crowd. You know me with diversity, I'm huge on that, and it was packed. Good to see, and thanks for the Great Divide for sticking with us over these years and helping us out, getting a billboard up for us and everything. We were going to do the show today from there, but I'll take the blame on why that didn't happen. So, but anyway, yeah, it's a nice Saturday morning, Producer Tony. It's our last show of the year. So thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to hit it up again in January. The holidays fall kind of wonky this year.
Yeah.
So, this will be our last show of the year, and looking forward to it.
And man, me too. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Timmy D, Matty Ice, all the guests we've had. Jacinda's been a big guest this past year. Yeah,
everybody has been. Yeah, huge. Thanks for the comments, during the year too, the messages you send, all that stuff. Thanks everybody for just being really, really nice and always kind of like, we'll come on or help out or do whatever. It's nice to have that. We've made some really good connections.
The only bad comment I had all year was that guy got a little sideways on me from the YRC thing we were talking about, but
and it wasn't intended to be that way.
Yeah.
So
I think he was a little emotional, but I hope that gentleman's doing fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, David B., so you've got a nice little topic here.
So this is on the fly too. So Dave didn't do his homework, at least for this portion of the show. I didn't do my homework. I did my homework for the music part, but not for this one. So one of the headline that caught my eye this morning was XPO's valuation. And so I've got the story right here in front of me, and the way I read it at the house is that their score, XPO's value score, is at 45, which means and having a score like that is a good score, meaning that their valuation is 45% higher, I think I'm going to say this the wrong way, than everybody else's, where, sitting at that 45 mark means that they're kind of in the middle, comfortable, and their stock value, shockingly, is like 41% lower than what it should be based off of the valuation. Their stock value is right at just under $87 a share. And you think in the trucking world, that's kind of low. I mean, if you look at a SIA and an OD, I don't have those rates in front of those stock values in front of me right now. But compared to those two, especially those two, that they're way undervalued as far as, because when I think of XPO, I think of a good, big, stable company. That may not always be the way it's been with them, but I think they're just a stable and in no way is XPO this is not sponsored. They're not sponsoring the show.
They are not a sponsor.
This is just
it's a good story.
A news story, and not we're not picking at anybody. We're not downplaying anything. It was just a story that caught my eye about the valuation of XPO, where I think in my head, again, that they're just a good, solid, stable company. And to see a stock, to me, that's a hell of a value at $87 a share.
So what they're saying, though, then is, if I'm reading this right, this is why I think it's a good article you brought forward, is because we talk about the stocks and we talk about carriers' growth and stuff. But but from a financial stock market standpoint, what that's saying is that XPO would be a good buy in 2024, right? So so they're, what'd you say, 40% undervalued?
41%.
41%. So that means their stock should be around, you said 87?
Mm-hmm.
It should be, well, that means it should be around $1.30, $1.40.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
So that's a huge growth, man.
If you don't have it, what's the value of an OD stock or a SIS? You're not sure. No, it's okay.
No, I'll look it up real quick, but I don't know what the ODFL valuation. Let's look it up because it's a good thing. Their stock's at 393. Yeah, 393, man, and they're up 10%. So you're talking about in 5 years, Old Dominion has gone from I can't hit 87. They were 5 years ago. They were at 89 January 25th, 2019. They were 89.71.
Holy crap! Hindsight being 2020.
So that valuation would be 100%.
That makes my brain hurt.
Yeah, I'm not Albert Einstein. Nowhere near that.
Well, that's why we do the jobs we
do. That's why we get paid so well doing this. But just to your point, that's huge. Yeah. That is stinking huge.
One of the things I've said for years now is if you had a crystal ball or hindsight being 2020, if you knew then what you know now versus just to put however much money you could in stock for the valuation of trucking companies. I mean, again, you look at OD, you look at Saya, and probably a couple other carriers that are.
Yeah.
I mean, those prices have jumped way high. Super high. And there's always going to be transportation.
They say XPO by Monday here, the on pre-buying a pre-sale of stock is already at, Monday, Tuesday, they're going to be at 89.
Because of this show.
It says waiting for the Ship's Gonna Happen to do their podcast.
Right. The numbers are going to jump.
But that's good stuff. It's a good topic because that's a company that they were isolated, or not isolated. They were separated into 3 entities, right? Or at least, and then 2, or was it always just 2?
Yeah, and aren't they talking about in their story about them doing it again?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Okay, maybe not.
But they separated their companies, got all the revenue, the costing right, and then merged it together when it was Conway East, Conway West, right? Kind of what FedEx did.
Oh, I remember those days.
And then and then just recently they've purchased 29 terminals, right? For about $890 million. So
in this story, again, we're not doing an XPO podcast today. We're just giving this story because
it's trucking news.
Yeah, it caught my eye. The strengths with the stock value are the debt. Their debt is well covered by earnings and cash flows, meaning they have little debt. And this weakness gets me, is the earnings decline over the past year. Well, duh. It's earnings are down a little bit because the shipping isn't what it was 2 years ago or 2.5 during the COVID.
Yeah, so you lost your COVID numbers.
Not fair to kind of be like, earnings are down. Well, no kidding.
I think if every company had their dream, they would take out those COVID numbers because they inflated. Maybe not so much your company because I think you guys have accelerated through that, but I think a lot of trucking companies.
But every day, it's a good point, Tony. Every day, though, like this morning driving over, I'm listening to a story about the EVs, and I know the company I work for, we don't sell a lot of automobile oil or whatever. We sell oil products or petroleum products, but we don't sell a lot of oil for vehicles. But they're pushing the hell out of this EV stuff. And I mean, they were interviewing, they were at the, who does the yearly kind of where they rate the vehicles, Consumer Reports thing. Mm-hmm. They were at the Consumer Reports, and each automobile manufacturer had an EV there. And they were talking about, there was no noise, and talking about how, all of them have ramped up their EV stuff. It was interesting to listen to, but my point in saying this is that where does this leave? I mean, just give me 15 more years. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, right.
Just give me 15 more. I don't care what happens the day after I retire.
Yeah.
Just give me 15 more years or 12, maybe 12 or whatever. But I don't know. But I've been worried about my job for 35 years. So.
You and I, well, I mean, that's because you're dedicated to doing what you do. People that aren't worried don't have a good job. So the people that worry seem to do better. Yeah, no, I know it's good stuff. But the you know what? That's a good point that you brought up there. Let's look at some trucking stocks. It's the end of the year and see. I mean, this is where we're all going to end, right?
So we got what? FedEx, UPS, OD, Saia. What other?
Let me look it up here. We got ODFL. I'll look up. I just had them pulled up, but I didn't have their stock. They're $393 a share.
Is Dayton public?
I think Dayton's private. Dayton Freight.
Yeah.
Dayton Freight is, I believe, family. Dayton Freight. I believe they're family owned. Yeah. They did win a Penske Carrier of the Year.
They're growing.
Dayton Freight. Let's see. We got XPO, Saia. Let's look up Saia. $414 a share. They're up 2%.
Higher than OD.
Higher than OD. They are a stock market darling.
I asked them to, like when Yellow ceased operations, I kind of threw them a bone, or not necessarily a bone, but kind of like, hey, they're like, nah, okay,
really. Well,
one of the Yellow guys went there and was my rep right before Tim was my rep.
Okay,
so what? Good kid, outstanding young man. I'm like, hey, and he's like, but somebody else already has Lebanon. I don't think he could get.
Oh, I
see. Doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
So they're doing well. And Estes is privately held, so we won't know Estes. We won't know Dayton. Let's see what ABFS is doing.
Oh, yeah.
Or ARC. Now they're ARC, right? Now they're
Let's
ARC.
look at the Roadrunner.
Oh, ARC.
$1.48.
Is that what it is?
Laugh about it. Yeah, it's about that. Yeah. I shouldn't laugh about that. They're growing too, so.
I'm going to look that up.
Listening to the ShipsGonnaHappen Podcast.
Oh, why can't I pull up ABF?
Last show of the year.
ABF rate. There we go. $114 a share. Wow.
Damn.
It's higher than XPO.
Yeah, it seems that, I mean, and my memory could be wrong, but it seems like it was more probably below the XPO value right before Yellow had went under. So, yeah. But I could be wrong with that.
No, I think you're right. I think that's the play.
Don't take any of this information as factual.
Yeah. Disclaimer.
Yes, a disclaimer.
This is all opinion.
Don't listen to this podcast.
Don't go and put a bunch of money in XPO stock because of that. But I mean, hey, David, I think it's a good thing to bring up because if you're looking at the trucking stock, that's one that might explode in 2024.
You would think, and I don't know. I'm not a OD guy or a Saia person. But just the name XPO, you think carries more weight to it than those other two. And I don't know. Maybe it was a story that just caught my eye, and I thought, this is weird.
They've done a great job at marketing. Mm-hmm. They've done a great job. And I think that XPO logistics wing they have perpetuates the name, right?
Okay. Yep.
So then, because I had said to someone, maybe XPO bought some of those terminals for the XPO logistics.
Okay.
And the person looked at me and went, what?
Yeah.
And I went, well, they have a logistics wing. Maybe they bought some for that. And they were like, oh.
So they have that facility in Lebanon. Do they not own that facility anymore?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think they just need more. There's a problem in our industry. We don't have enough. The industry doesn't have enough warehouse dock space per se. So, because those companies that went out over the years, the banks would get their property, and they didn't always go look to sell it to a trucking company. I mean,
is warehousing now the manufacturing job, or I
think so. Yeah.
That. And I'm not trying to poo-poo a manufacturing job. I'm just saying, is that
I think so.
Okay.
It's in line, yeah. Yeah. Good stuff, man.
I pulled it out of my back.
Hey, that's a good one to pull out. That's a good topic. I enjoy talking about that one.
This is why I do what I do, is I didn't do my homework in high school either. So.
That's why we're in trucking. David and I are in trucking because they allowed us to be.
Ed Perry.
Yeah.
We can quote the great Ed Perry.
To quote Ed Perry.
If we could quote Ed Perry.
Yeah. They allowed us to be in trucking. That's the only reason I'm here. They allowed me to be in here.
It needs to be a poster, and underneath of it have Ed Perry's name. Circa whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Circa whatever the year was.
Oh my God.
You know.
A shirt, with his picture and a cigar. Oh my God, it'd be great, dude.
Right, and with his cooking apron on, one of the Colts tailgates, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. They let me in. It's hilarious.
Yeah, cooking up a lamb or whatever. I remember that one of the tailgates that he was doing. He's like, "Here, try this." Like, and it just looked like beef or whatever. And so I ate. I'm like, "Oh, this is good." And he goes, and then after the fact, he's like, "It was lamb," and I go, "Awesome."
I never had lamb.
Poor little guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he tasted good.
That's
or
funny.
She or whatever.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's I mean, those not to get off on a tangent, but somebody like Ed Perry. I mean, Ed Perry is a resonate with you in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a good dude.
Great guy,
Absolutely
man.
Hell of a good dude.
Had a lot of great times with him. Learned a lot from him too.
Yeah, some good conversations with Ed. Ed's the guy that I remember him and I on multiple occasions bellying up to at the lodge, just and putting a few back.
He used to call on you, didn't he?
Uh-huh.
I thought so.
Yeah. Well, even when he didn't, even before he started calling on me, we would have, some really good conversations.
Oh yeah.
So he makes it. That's how you get business.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Relationships still count, man.
Rapport is but boy, they don't. They're them youngins. They don't
want that. David, I'll text you when you need me.
Yeah. Don't bother me about this freight bill.
What are you calling me for, David?
Yeah.
I'm only call you when I need to talk to you.
Yeah, if I'm calling you, there's a problem. Yeah. And let's get it fixed.
Lord.
But everything's fixable too. I've learned that. I learned that over the years. Everything is fixable. Everything. Yeah. Just fix it, move on, and don't whatever.
When I was in the military, they'd say, you get all worked up. I had this military officer say to me one time, Bubnick, did anybody die? Mm-hmm. No. Did anybody get hurt? No. Mm-hmm. He said, don't worry about it. I was like, oh, man, but I'm still worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, you can't fix it. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. I always thought that was good advice. But
there needs to be more of that.
Yeah. All right, man. Moving on. So we'll move into the presidential race in 2024 coming up.
There's a race coming up.
Yeah.
Don't we talk about that too much? Isn't that whatever? It seems like that needs to be a smaller little.
But we got a guy running talking about trucking.
And who is this again? I'm sorry.
I'm going to say his name. I
can't wait for this.
Yeah, this will be a good one. This is harder than Pat.
It's not Pat McAfee.
It's harder than that one. Vivek Ramsey. Ramsey.
Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm not sure I said it right.
I think you're right. I think
you may
yours
have
is right.
said it right.
Yeah, so he was out.
Anyway,
he was at the Iowa 80. At the Iowa 80 stop, and he, we're not supporting any candidate here. I just thought this is just trucking news, is what we're talking about.
Yeah, no hate mail, please.
Yeah, no hate mail.
Send it all to Tony.
Send it to. Well, we will.
Producer.Tony at
ShipsGonnaHappen.com. Yeah. So, what he was talking about is he's basically saying something that we don't hear a lot. Is we've heard it during COVID, and you and I know it. You know it because you work in it, and I know it because we work in it. Talking about the importance of drivers, and talking about how the industry needs to come up with a better solution to retain those drivers,
pay them a salary.
Yeah, and so he's talking about all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he avows if he's president, he will promote driver safety through comprehensive mental health policies, truck parking safely, common sense hours of regulations. He also intends to combat the effort at state level to limit the freedom of CDL drivers as independent contractors and use investigatory power to crack down on broker fraud. So double
broker fraud. Let's discuss
jacking up rates. I think stuff like that's what he's talking about.
So broker fraud. So that when I hear that, like, so when I go down to the Mid-America Truck Show this coming March, one of the things that I would like to do, and I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen, but I would like to do the podcast from that trucking
That'd be
show
cool.
to have interaction with drivers, and also try to focus on when drivers criticize or say something about what brokers are charging. So let's hypothetically say a mom and pop trucking company doesn't have anybody to go out and sell for them, so they rely on that brokers to help them get up rates.
Right.
Why is that an issue? On, like, let's say they're going to give them $800 to come out of Cincinnati to Lebanon or whatever that cost is, and the broker who doesn't, I mean, the carrier who doesn't need to know what that it costs. Let's say they charge them $885 or $900 to do it. That's not, I mean, they don't have anybody selling for them.
Right.
So I just don't understand.
No, I know. I think that's what he's talking about. And I said it wrong. Let me correct myself. He hasn't spoke yet. He will speak on Thursday, December 21st at the Iowa 80, the world's largest truck stop, where he will lay down his plan to support truckers and to ensure that their voices will be heard.
Will he still be in the race then?
That's a good question. I don't know. He may be out. He may have dropped out by Thursday the 21st. That's next week, right?
It's this Thursday.
I'm thinking he might
Thursday.
might still be in. He might be still in the race.
Okay.
That's a
drop out Friday.
Here's my plan.
The 22nd.
It dropped out on the 22nd.
I'm done.
The plan's not going to work. I'm dropping out.
I don't stand a snowball's chance in hell of winning anyway.
Yeah. Oh my God. So David B. So that's a little. What's his name, David?
I'm not saying it right, but
I think yours is better than mine.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, Ramaswamy.
It's Vivek. I think it's actually Vivek.
It is Vivek.
So it rhymes with cake. So Vivek Ramaswamy.
Vivek likes his cake. Vivek Ramsway.
And he might be a mistake.
Exactly. He might be a mistake. But anyways, he's got a plan. December 21st, you can watch it.
You can watch it?
Yeah, you can. I think probably watch it online.
Oh, okay.
You can. And again, we do not support
no
any candidate at this point.
No.
So
or ever.
Yeah. So all we support is the red, white, and blue.
There we go.
And David B. Let's talk about 1982, man.
Let's switch it up and go to the Reckless Club. You said this in pre-show, and I like it. I like it better. The Reckless. Do we go with the Reckless Crew or the
What
Reckless?
did I say?
I think you said Reckless. I think you said Reckless Club Crew.
Okay, I like
that.
Yeah, Reckless Club Crew.
I think you just kind of spoke. And
I didn't even know I said it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of how we came up with the name anyway. Where you thought I had said something.
Breakfast and
Yeah, and actually
it's not a great day.
I had actually not said anything. So this I do, and again, I'm not afraid to admit this, that I do more homework for this part of the podcast.
Well, it's fun.
And I do, because I mean, again, like when I got here this morning, I told Tony and I were briefly discussing what we were going to talk about, and I go, just looking at these lists makes me feel so.
Oh my God, I know it's a good one though.
Oh, just is. And so I'm going to start off this week by kind of going over some talking points of the year 1982, kind of the headlines and music, and then we can go on and discuss.
Yeah.
So first off, we're going to go with January the 20th of 1982, where in beautiful Des Moines, Iowa, Ozzy Osbourne bit the head off of a bat and then had the nerve to claim that he thought it was rubber.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can tell the difference, dude.
He still says that to this day.
Does he really?
Yes, he does.
Oh.
He said he thought it was fake because people were throwing a fake shit up there. People at other concerts had thrown up fake rubber bats and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, so he did, but I don't know if I believe that.
That's the later that year.
He had to get shots after that.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. He probably needed them anyway. Just guessing. I don't know.
Here, Ozzy, here's a marijuana cigarette and 3 lines of cocaine.
Him and Sharon had got married later that year in 1982.
Really?
Yeah. That's what
she was
to be a night. What was the not that Ozzy Osbourne shouldn't be attractive or wasn't whatever at the time.
I know the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll let you go ahead.
She was the daughter of a record producer that was doing the Black Sabbath stuff back in the day. And then so she knew him. He knew her. So I think that's how that. It wasn't so random. It wasn't a random. Well, it was random that they fell in love or whatever, but I think that the attraction there was because of a network they were in.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. That makes sense. And so on January 21st of 1982, B.B. King donated 7,000
B.B. King, baby.
Of his own personal record collection to the University of Mississippi for the purpose of, excuse me, I had it right here, for the study of Southern culture.
Yeah.
So
B.B. King.
He is good.
Yeah.
Is good.
I think he's passed away. B.B. King. I'll look it up. B.B. King.
Sorry for.
I think he tried to sleep with your wife too, if you met her. That's what I heard. He was kind of like that. What a vascular dementia, type 2 diabetes. He died on May 15th at the age of 89.
This year?
2015. But his music lives on.
Yeah. So in February, not to stay with the Ozzy Osbourne theme, in February of that year, Ozzy Osbourne was arrested for urinating on the Alamo in 1982.
He's been arrested for a lot of shit.
I'm gonna guess too. I would say that.
And he's 75. Still kicking.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The Mamas and the Papas began a reunion tour in 1982. I would have not guessed that.
I didn't know that either. But I love the Mamas and Papas.
John Belushi was found dead March the 5th.
Ooh.
Just an uplifting program.
God dang, Dave.
Uplifting program this morning, talking about death and fighting the heads off the bad. All these positive things. Randy Rhoads was killed in 1982. Good Lord, boy.
I remember that.
Get off of the death stuff, will you? Let's see here. Johnny Cash hosts Saturday Night Live on April the 17th.
I remember that.
Johnny Cash to me is just meh. And people get all like, Johnny Cash every time.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, he's okay. I don't know. Anyway. Let's see. Going through here. Just kind of reading. You're listening to the Reckless Club Crew. Queen releases their 10th album on May the 21st of 1982. Duran album Rio peaks at number 2 in the United Kingdom. Grease 2 is released. I didn't know there was a Grease 2.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Obviously. That's why I didn't know there was a Grease 2. Ozzy Osbourne marries Sharon on... Sorry, where was it? Okay, I lost that date.
Married Sharon Osbourne? Or Sharon, whatever her name was.
I think her last name at the time was Arden or something.
Yeah,
okay. Arden?
I don't know.
Something like that. Michael Jackson releases his 6th studio album, Thriller, on November the... Thriller was released in 82.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is the number 1 selling album of all time.
Still.
Yep.
It was a good album. I mean, everybody had that album. Right?
But he's not the... Yeah. But I think that's the biggest album of all time, but I don't think he's the best-selling artist of all time. Anyway.
So to end the year in 1982, on December the 31st, the 11th annual New Year's Rockin' Eve airs on ABC with appearances by the Go-Go's, Hall & Oates, Ronnie Millsap, Barry Manilow, and an up-and-coming young Jermaine Jackson.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it didn't.
No.
So when I read that on the December 31st, the 11th annual New Year's Rockin' Eve, wasn't that Dick Clark?
Yeah, Dick Clark.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And now he still owns it. It's called Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year, I think, but it's hosted by Ryan Foamcrest or Seacrest.
The number 1
Seacrest.
So now this is according to the Billboard Top 100 songs.
Boom, baby, give it to us, Dave.
What would be your guesstimated number 1 song of 1982, producer Tony? This is, again, a Billboard Top 100 number 1, not our own choosing.
I'm going to say, David, it's time to get physical.
Great.
Physical.
Great guess. Because that was my guess.
No, is it?
That was No Sir. Eye of the Tiger by Survivor.
Eye of the Tiger. Was in the Rocky movie, right? I think it was in the Rocky movie,
I never saw.
Yeah.
I'm
Eye of the Time. Survivor, the band Survivor, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm looking.
Olivia Newton-John's Physical wasn't in it because she was in there.
It's in there somewhere, but
Let's get physical. My mom loved that thing.
1999 by Prince. That just doesn't sound.
Yeah, I don't know. Really?
Yeah. So in here, what is the proper name of the song without looking, producer Tony? What is the proper name of the song 8675309? What is the actual name of that song? You're thumbing through the lyrics in your head, you'll get it.
Jenny?
Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
Good job.
Jenny? Because that was her name, right? Jenny, I need you.
Yeah. Something like that.
Jenny, I love you or something. He said.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Jenny, I need your number.
Oh, Jenny.
Hey, will you
yeah.
Words.
That was the J. Giles band? No? Who was that? Tommy Two-Tone, that's right.
J. Giles band. That year probably would have been Centerfold.
Centerfold, that's right. Man, it's Angel on Centerfold.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. So, Gloria by Laura Branigan. So think about how many times that. So there's probably what, 3 or 4 versions, and this isn't the Gloria version of Gloria. This is just like a different song name for Gloria. But when you think of the Gloria version, there's quite a few versions of that out there.
Gloria,
right?
yeah.
No?
Heck yeah, there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
What about
Jackson Brown, Somebody's Baby?
Somebody's Baby. I hated that song. I like Jackson Brown though.
Was that in?
He wrote most of.
Was that in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
I think so. He wrote some. He helped the Eagles finish a bunch of their songs.
Jackson Brown.
Yeah, he lived upstairs from them, and they'd hear he always drank tea, and they'd hear the kettle go off, and they knew he was up, and they'd go up, hey man. He came up with the line for the Eagles in Winslow, Arizona. Such a fine sight to see. He came up with that one line though. Sitting on the corner.
Winslow, Arizona.
Yeah, he came up with that. And then a couple other lines they had.
We're terrible singers.
Yeah, we are horrible. God. People are like, oh,
my God,
nobody's listening. They turned the shit off by now. What about, didn't Joan Jett make a splash that year?
Yeah, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I love rock and roll.
I love rock and roll. I love that song.
Men at Work.
Men at Work. Oh, man, Down Under.
Down Under. Yeah,
I come from the land down under. Oh, that's a great song.
They had a few songs. I mean, they weren't just that one-hit wonder. They were
a really good band. Yeah. You know, we saw Weezer, and Weezer did that song.
Down Under.
It was really good. Yeah.
Weezer's a good band.
A lot of bands are doing that song.
Weezer's a good band.
Yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, it was really good. One of the best bands I saw this year.
Dexy's. What did Dexy's Midnight Runners sing? Is that name? That band?
That name does sound familiar. I don't know.
Come on, Eileen.
Oh wow. Come on, Eileen. That's a good song.
Yeah.
Good party song.
Ebony and Ivory.
Paul
McCartney.
Michael Jackson. Oh God, that was Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney. I was thinking Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. They did some stuff too, didn't they?
Yeah.
But not.
I think that ended a little weird because didn't Michael buy his library?
Totally screwed him. Totally screwed him. Yeah. Totally screwed him. Paul McCartney's still mad about that.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Well, he couldn't sing some of his songs.
You mean, yeah. Wow. That's what that
He couldn't sing, yeah. He didn't own the rights to it, so he couldn't sing it.
But how do you let that happen? How does that happen?
They got bamboozled early on in their career. They talk about it. Yeah.
So he took it. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
He took advantage of the situation.
Oh yeah. So what? One thing that history doesn't really point out very well. Yeah, the Beatles broke up, but a big part of the reason is they wanted solo careers because they make more money because they were caught in those record contracts, right? So they knew they'd make more money. That's a lot of times that's why they do it. They don't do it because there's a falling out. You know,
this probably broke your heart in 1982, Tony. The band ABBA broke up.
Oh my God, I was devastated that year. I remember it vividly like it was yesterday, dude.
Blondie, the Blues Brothers, they both broke up in 1982.
Well, the Blues Brothers had to.
Right, yeah, that's right. I was going with
God, your heart.
That's where I was going with that.
You are mean, David.
Yeah, I'm mean. Yeah, I'm the mean one of the group. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's kind of, I mean, again, it just makes you feel old when you look at stuff like that.
Some of these songs, though, oh my God, you forgot it. David, I'm disappointed in you.
As you should always be.
Don't you want me, babe? Mm-hmm. I was a waitress working in a cocktail lounge.
Right. Yeah.
Don't you want me, babe? Mm-hmm. The Human League.
Yep, Human League. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Johnny Cougar. They got him listed as Johnny Cougar.
Yeah, because that's what it was then. I don't think he had any Mellencamp.
God, I hated this song.
Yeah, I never was a Mellencamp.
Listen,
I was, and that's the Q95's fault because they wouldn't stop playing it. Stop playing it.
As a hometown boy.
Jesus.
Well, it's like me growing up in Chicago and having to listen to Styx in Chicago. No matter what station you turned it on, there were like 6 stations. One of them had them on.
I miss, and I legitimately mean this, I miss the old AM music radio station.
Yeah.
I absolutely miss that. There's Toronto on my truck radio. I have a station out of Toronto that plays, it's an AM radio station, and they play music, and it just kind of brings you back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When I'm up through Central Indiana, I'll turn it to 1210, and they'll play stuff from the 70s and 80s. And I don't know where that's at, 1210 a.m.
So the 7:40 a.m., and it's out of Toronto, and it's, I kind of like listening to, like, because that was the way WLS was. And, you know, speaking of Chicago radio, I always loved it.
There's a bunch of bad songs on here.
Yeah, very much so.
Always on My Mind's a good one. I didn't mean that, but I can't believe that's rated that low that year. But here's one that, like, I hated this song. Tainted Love.
Oh, I love Tainted
You
Love.
liked it?
Soft Cell by Soft Cell.
And he knows the name of the band.
Hell yeah.
David B's got a good brain on this stuff.
Dirty Laundry by Don Henley.
That was a good song.
Yep.
Who can it be now?
Huey Lewis and the News, Do You Believe in Love?
That's a good song.
It was. Yep.
Shake It Up, the Cars. That's probably them whining out of their
That's not the
years.
name of that song.
It's not?
Isn't the
I
name
don't
of that
know.
song?
I don't
What's
know.
the actual name of that song? I mean, that's the way everybody referred to the name of that song, but I don't think that's.
Chariots of Fire was out that year.
Yeah.
Rosanna, Toto.
Right. Yeah. Madonna's first single. I don't remember the song, but Everybody. The name of the song is Everybody by Madonna. I do not.
Have you seen her lately?
No. So before,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, I'm sure you get people that look at the two of us and be like, "Have you seen Dave lately?" I don't think too many of us can brag that we aged well. But I know what you're saying. But I'm always kind of like,
Well,
I wonder what they say about it.
Well, I think you and I look better than her because we haven't tried
Thank
all
you.
that stuff.
Right.
You know, she's like got like, oh my God, dude, it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Anytime-
America had a song,
Mhm.
You Can Do Magic. That was like one of their last songs. That was a great band, underrated band.
Heartlight by Neil Diamond. Wasn't that part of a
Movie. Yeah, Neil Diamond's awesome, man.
I don't remember that movie. Whatever. Hungry Like the Wolf.
Didn't like that one.
By Duran. That's probably when we kind of
Never liked them.
right. Just kind of getting going. There was also looking through here. Part of the Night, like Juice Newton is still around in 1982, and what I mean by that is, again, that's kind of a little bit more of a country influence on the pop chart, you know, which is what was happening during those years.
Yeah, that's a good
kind
point.
of those yacht rock years, and then country kind of infiltrated into the Hot 100. Not that I'm saying I'm not judging that it shouldn't have been there. I'm just saying that that's what was going on at the time.
And the Police, every little thing she does is magic.
I've said this countless times. To me, that's the band, just in my head, and this is my own personal opinion. That is the band that broke up too soon. That could still be really, really good and relevant today.
Yeah, they're really good, man.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Some people always say that. A lot of rock musicians will talk about what an influence they were. I mean, Foo Fighters talk about that. A lot of bands do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, talk about what an influence. A lot. The drummer, Simon Kirk, was that his name? Stuart Copeland. Yeah, very well known as one of the great drummers. me and Nate. Yeah,
love it. Tony.
Yeah,
Pat McAfee and Vivek. I'm going to say it right instead of saying it
Vivek Wormsway.
There we go. Yeah. So Tony Basil and Mickey was out. Remember that song? Mickey?
Yeah.
Oh, Mickey, you're so fine.
That's out.
Fine.
That was a good song.
Mickey.
Hey, Mickey.
Yeah. And again, that just makes it feel old when you see that.
Stevie Nicks had a song too.
Van Halen, Pretty Women. That was
Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman. That's who was the original? That is a legend, man. Got a great voice.
Indiana's very own David Lee Roth.
Yeah, the originator of the song.
I'm so sorry. I thought
he was in the Traveling Wilburys.
I could see.
God dang it!
Roy Orbison.
Roy Orbison, great voice, dude.
Orbison 3.
Yeah, he did that. That little.
Rock the Casbah by the Clash. I thought the Clash.
Yeah, Clash is good.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's an English band.
I never have, and still am not. And again, to each their own. I'm never a Bob Seger guy. Never.
I liked him.
I just don't.
The first time my mom left me in the car alone while she was shopping. Yeah.
You can't do that today.
No. She was going into Jewel in Chicago.
Tony, you sitting here and don't touch anything.
Yeah. I go, Mom, let me just stay. I'll be right here. All right, I'll be right back. And I turned on the radio, the Loop FM 98 out of Chicago. And I heard, she was a little too tall.
Okay.
And I was like, what the heck is this stuff, man? This thing's ripping through my soul.
Night Move?
Yeah. I was like, whoa. Like, wow. This is incredible.
Can we hum a song and not get in trouble?
Yeah. So I said, Mom, hey, Venture. We had Venture. It's like a Kmart.
Yeah, I know.
Venture store.
Yeah, they're used to. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was like, Mom, can we stop at the Venture store on the way there? She goes, yeah, sure. So we stopped, and then I pulled out that Bob Seger album. I go, Mom, can I buy this? And she's like, yeah, I'll get it for you. That song was on there.
So, speaking of the Police, so in 1982, Sting had a solo song back in 1982, Spread a Little Happiness. I don't remember that.
Sting's solo career went nowhere.
Right, Air Supply, Sweet Dreams. That was actually 1981, not 1982.
Well, Dan Fogelberg, man, leader of the band.
Okay.
Dan Fogelberg, right? Didn't he have something? Dan Fogelberg.
Phil Collins had.
Oh, yeah, Phil Collins. Air of the Night? Is that when it came out?
Actually, the name of this song is Through These Walls. I
remember that.
Sure, if I heard it, I might remember it, but
how the hell that should even make it a top 100?
In Excess in 1982, the one thing. I loved
In Excess.
Oh, hell
though.
Yes.
I didn't think they became big until the late 80s.
Michael
killed himself.
Michael Ramaswamy.
Bolton?
No, Michael Bolton was on the movie Office Space.
Michael.
I want to say Richards, but that's not right. Michael. That's how it works.
What the hell are we talking about?
In Excess.
In Excess. Oh, I got it. In Excess. I'm gonna look it up for you.
I loved it.
In Excess. In Excess. I love them too. They were Australian band, right?
Yeah.
Past members. Michael Hutchins. No, it's just Hutchence.
Okay. Vacation by the Go-Go's in 1982.
I don't remember that.
Under Pressure by Queen.
Ooh, I do remember that. Quick story on that. I heard the story on that. Under Pressure, they actually randomly met. It wasn't a planned meeting. They randomly met, and what they wanted was David Bowie to sing on a song, and then he started doing that thing, and then they put them in two different rooms, and they both came up with their own thing, and then that's what it was.
White Wedding by Billy Idol.
White Wedding. I never really liked Billy Idol.
Yeah,
didn't know it for me.
Culture Club had a few songs in 1982.
Culture Club.
Time being one of those songs.
You know what? I got to give that dude a lot of respect. The world we live in, that dude was out before it came out, right? And he was really good at what he did. He was very talented, very talented.
Yeah, probably underappreciated.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Culture Club was, yeah.
I think Sinead O'Connor was in that realm. I don't know if she was gay or anything, but she was in that realm of different. But she was underrated too, I think.
I mean, it's okay to be. Yeah. I mean, when you look at music, I mean, you do hear and see a lot of different. If that makes sense. I mean, you look at.
Well, I mean, sometimes if you just don't know what the artist is about, if you don't know, like if we were in a place and we were having a good time with family, friends, or whatever, and we didn't know anything about that, and we heard their music, we'd like it. So then I think MTV was good and bad. It more good than bad, but I think people didn't listen to him because they thought he was a certain way, right? And so, I think. He was so talented that it didn't matter.
But then isn't it fair to say that people did listen to him because he was a certain way?
Maybe, yeah. I think that probably
go both ways.
I think it would be. Maybe. I think it definitely would. Yeah. Yeah. But so you're right. What you were saying made me think like we were all put in a room and would we like those artists better or would we like them worse?
To your point with that. Is it a fair analogy to say that there's a certain place that you and I go to every now and again, and there's a certain different person in there? That certain different person doesn't keep me or you from ever going in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm
saying. Yep.
I'm not trying to.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Trying to stir controversy.
No, that's a good point.
So Wham, 1982.
Wham was huge.
Jeez,
George Michael. Choose Life. All those girls were wearing those shirts that said Choose Life.
That mother effer could sing.
Mm-hmm. Highly talented, man.
Jeez. Yeah, gone too soon. And it was also the thing when I think about.
Did he OD or kill himself? I can't remember. Well, he did. He killed himself.
One and the same.
Yeah.
I don't, and he wasn't, at least the way I remember him, gone too soon. And then it seemed like he was okay with admitting his faults, and then also kind of being okay with taking his own liberties at it, or what's the right word for that? Where
he got caught doing some stuff that was
but
odd.
then it was also been like, all right, because he did and I don't think a lot of people had caught on to this. He did one of those carpool karaoke things, and right at the beginning of the carpool karaoke, he got in the car and kind of there was a photo incident. So he kind of took liberties or kind of made fun of himself with like, I'm just picking up my photos or whatever. I mean, and if you knew, you was like, oh, okay, all right, he's having fun on him. He's picking, all right, cool. I mean, just kind of, you don't hear it. Or, a lot of people would shy away, be like, no, I don't want to talk about that or whatever. Where his approach was,
he wasn't.
Yep, I effed up.
Right.
So,
that's funny.
Yeah, you kind of respect somebody a little bit more when they kind of are like, yep, I effed up. So,
yep.
Man, about all the times I've effed up. Jeez.
We don't have enough time for this show to mention mine and your mess ups.
Darn, So anyway,
messing up.
As much as I hate to do this, producer Tony, I've kind of got to.
We got to get to getting. All right. Hey,
thanks again, everybody, for listening. We're still. Well, come January, we're starting our 4th year. We are still kind of, I know it sounds weird to say we're new at this, but we're trying to get our own, and we're just going to keep trying and plugging along. And we appreciate everybody that's following us. We thank Great Divide for putting up a billboard for us and letting us broadcast from there 3 or 4 times a year. And it's greatly appreciated. And everybody listening, all of our Hall of Famers, from Jeremy to number 2 to...
He's number 1 in our heart. This Christmas, you're number 1.
Today. Yeah.
For this moment.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for being a part of our podcast. It's great.
Yeah. Thanks to the Great Divide for sticking with us and being our sponsor and had fun at Great Divide. You ever get a chance to go there, man. You're missing out on a nice local bar in Indianapolis. Restaurant too. Great food.
Yeah.
And like David likes to say, I like that way he says that. Chatting it up with the locals.
Yeah.
You can chat it up with the locals. Plenty of friendly people in there. David B,
it's a very diverse crowd.
Yeah. David B, thank you.
Happy holidays to you and yours, producer Tony.
You too, brother.
Happy holidays to all of you listening. Best wishes for the year 2024. We're going to make it the best year we can.
Ship's Gonna Happen out.